Hey, what's up, guys? Dustin LeBleu here with the Dustin LeBleu CEO Podcast, and I'm joined by
Austin Ray with the Dustin LeBleu CEO Podcast as well.
What's up, man? So we got some cool things to talk about today. We're going to announce some changes and some things that we're going to be doing going forward.
Yeah, so for those of you that have tuned into this podcast previously, you know that Dustin and I have pretty much covered a vast majority of topics and concerns to business. It's usually business motivation, a little bit of life motivation in there as well. And that's kind of where we've been at for now. I think that's where you see a lot of your entrepreneurs at in today's podcast space. And I'm going to be quite frank with you. I have a projection that it's going to stale out 100%.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look into the future, and I'm already seeing big names that are just starting to, their content's getting garbage.
It's hard to keep on the same path because it's hard to say. You really have to say the same thing over and over and over, knowing that most people that hear you are not going to take action on what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because the majority of the stuff you have to, it's like, why, people will ask, why do you give out secrets? Why do you give out this and that? Well, I know most people aren't even going to take the advice.
Yeah.
So,
and here's the thing, if you've listened to Dustin's original podcast, the CEO Podcast episode number 1, you know, for one, that you do not like to do repetitive shit.
No.
You hate it. You're like a purveyor of new things. You always love creating. And that's the thing is guys, this podcast, it went from being something that was, actually enjoying, we enjoyed doing it. And then it became very monotonous. So now we're here to switch things up, and we're going to be bringing bigger names on the podcast. We're going to be bringing some guests on here, everything from high profile people to, even local people for that matter, people that work with us, things of that nature. And we're just going to mix it up a bit. Yeah, we'll still have business topics on here. We're still going to hit, conversations about the grind and hustle of the daily life. But
I like the idea of we have another show that we do called IIL or the IIL Podcast, which we're still going to do. But
yeah,
I almost want to kind of merge the two in a way to where it's you get both of, both of the styles where you get some of the comedy and things like that we do, but also have, a good guest. One we're having, in a few weeks, we're having Jeff Meldrum, the Bigfoot guy.
Yeah, Dr. Jeff Meldrum.
Why not have that every now and then on some of these shows?
Yeah, and, the thing is when we talk on here, we have to approach things in a different manner than who we typically are in person. We have to almost talk too politically correct as to not hurt any snowflakes or anything by accident.
Right.
Whereas on Insane Labs, it's no holds bar. There's no restrictions. There's literally no into what kind of topics we're going to hit on. And in all honesty, I feel we typically have a little bit more fun on the Insane Labs podcast.
Oh, we have a lot more fun. Not that it's not fun talking about business stuff. It is fun, but it is what we do every day. So, I like the idea of, we still have both podcasts, but sometimes we kind of even have the same podcast going on both. You know what I'm saying?
And we've done it previously, guys. We've done it one time before where we've launched a podcast. We did a Dualcast essentially and launched it down both avenues. And I think you're going to start seeing that a lot more because it just, I think the content-wise, it's going to be well put for both podcasts. So aside from that, man, we actually have somebody coming in today that we're going to record a podcast with probably tomorrow. It's going to be on the IIL Podcast. In fact, we'll probably launch it on both because it is going to be a business move. However, it's also pertaining to things, outside of business.
So this would be a good example of don't put all your eggs in one basket. So basically what we're doing is we're expanding off of Insane Labs. We have the IIL Podcast. Now we're doing IIL Music, which aside from a few other things on IIL Music, we signed an artist. So he's going to be in town. We're going to be doing some recording and some different things like that. So
yeah, he'll
be in town, and we would like to have him speak a little bit and kind of tell you a little bit about himself. So
yeah, and guys, I say it, and Dustin says it every podcast, at the end of them every time. If you guys have a topic that you would like covered, if you've been holding it back because you simply think this is too much for their realm of speaking because they're business centered, please do not hesitate to reach out and let us know what it is. If it's so much as a comment on YouTube, a DM on Twitter or Instagram, go ahead and do it. Let us know what you think would be cool to talk about because there's literally no limitations as to what we would consider at this point.
I think what could be cool too is even having a contest where we even interview some of our fans. So like that'd be fun, you know, like even maybe having a call in, you know, that'd be pretty fun at some point.
Yeah. So I'm tasked with making sure that we have everything set up correctly today. So I've got to, you know, I got some drivers and stuff to go download and basically get Skype lined in the Logic Pro so we can make sure everything works and everything runs flawlessly, guys. So, you know, we have that capability now. And basically, man, I think that's pretty much, it's just a short podcast today. Not even necessarily I would call it a podcast, more like a PSA, a public service announcement here, just to let people know what they can expect. Things have changed. So you can
expect a lot of guests. We're definitely working on that. Austin's primarily working on it, getting guests here. And then just like different types of topics, not only just business. So we'll do a lot of business still, but a lot of different stuff as well. We want to make you laugh and do some different style entertainment as well. So
exactly.
Other than that, guys, make sure to go follow us on iTunes, YouTube, and that's pretty much it. So we're out. We appreciate it.
Catch you guys.